welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Ritchie. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day, none other than Mr. Jamie Lowe. Always fascinating to have his brilliance on the program. Top story of the day. The Department of Justice seeking charges against Don Lemon. A judge says, nope, not this time. The judge has rejected the charges being sought against Don Lemon, and there's a background to it. Here it is.
So, news organizations, stop selling out your journalists. Let them report on the news. Stop trying to move the journalism in the direction of Republicans or MAGA or this administration. And if you were trying to do it to the left, I would say the same thing, but that's not what's happening. Nobody's trying to move anything to the left. But you're trying to move things to the right. Not only is it unseemly, it's un-American. And you don't deserve to be a journalist or in the business of journalism if you do that. So look, I stand proud and I stand tall. This is not a victory lap for me because it's not over. They're gonna try again and they're gonna try again. And guess what? Here I am. Keep trying. That's not gonna stop me from being a journalist. You're not gonna diminish my voice. Go ahead, make me into the new Jimmy Kimmel if you want. Just do it. Because I'm not going anywhere.
Very well said. Understand the proxy war that's happening. So one, it was never about the protesters. It was about getting Don Lemon. It was about silencing the voice of Don Lemon. But then it wasn't even about Don Lemon. It was about what Don Lemon represents, the proxy of this, the free press, the free press, the free press. Conservative outlets have utilized Trump to their advantage, and Trump has utilized the conservative press as the de facto ministry of communication, basically, from his White House. But Don Lemon stood strong, very proud of the brother. And once again, this is the continuation of the assault against truth-telling, regardless of the terminology, journalist or not. Truth-telling is under assault, not just plain journalism. Truth-telling is under assault. Put it up full mass. In an update, veteran journalist Don Lemon called out the Trump administration after the U.S. Department of Justice attempted to criminally charge him for reporting live at a protest against ICE inside a Minneapolis church. A federal magistrate judge refused to approve the DOJ's criminal complaint against Lemon for his on-the-ground coverage of the peaceful protest on January 18th. This was inside City's church, where protesters accused his pastor, David Easterwood, of being an ICE field director in the community. Lemon, an Emmy Award-winning journalist, entered the church to interview church members about the demonstration. He was not part of the demonstration as the administration alleged. He had been in Minneapolis covering ongoing protests in the city amid the Trump administration's escalating immigration and law enforcement activities targeting Black and brown immigrants following the January 7th fatal ICE shooting of a 37-year-old mother named Renee Good. Some important factors to remember in this story. One, the Trump administration made churches front and center for something like this to happen. When they decided to roll back the protections that a place of worship and faith would typically have, they rolled that back. They eliminated that separation. They decided to withdraw the veil, making their ICE agents immune to constitutional violations of individuals as they go and attempt to round up, well, undocumented folk, which once again is a proxy war against everybody. Two, Don Lemon was not the only person reporting inside of that church. But he is the target of the DOJ. In a statement hitting back at Trump's DOJ and their failed attempt to charge him, Lemon's attorney, Lowell, said, quote, the magistrate's reported actions confirmed the nature of Don's First Amendment protected work this weekend in Minnesota as a reporter. It was no different than what he has done for more than 30 years. Reporting and covering newsworthy events on the ground and engaging in constitutionally protected activity as a journalist. Now, the Trump administration, they would like you to believe that they're able to tell you who a journalist is and is not. And so they will say, well, these are left-wing lunatics and they're not real journalists, fake news, fake journalists. Okay? They do that in order to eliminate the truth from sticking to you. And so they come up with false narratives about those who deliver the message without attacking the message itself. So they want to pick who is in the media. Who is a journalist? Well, that's a common model for dictatorships, where you have to be an approved, government-approved, and government-sanctioned individual in order to be a member of the press. This is Trump creating a de facto version of that. There's more. According to the New York Times, the DOJ prosecutors sought to charge Lemon for possible violations of the FACE Act, a law that makes it a crime to physically obstruct or use threats of force to intimidate or interfere with a person seeking reproductive health services or seeking to participate in a service at a house of faith. During the White House press conference on Tuesday, Donald Trump accused Lemon of accosting the church's lead pastor, Jonathan Parnell, and defended the actions of ICE agents. Quote, they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's loser, lightweight. I saw him, the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. The way he walked in. He walked in that church. The way he walked in that church, it was terrible. The audacity of a black man to walk into a white man's church. There's more. The Times reports, despite the judge's denial, the DOJ will still seek to charge Lemon through other avenues. However, what avenue is unclear. Lemon's attorney said, should the Department of Justice continue with this, quote, stunning and troubling effort to, quote, silence and punish him for exercising his First Amendment right as a member of the free press, Lemon will call out their latest attack on the rule of law and fighting the charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. While unsuccessful in prosecuting Lemon, the Trump administration began arresting activists who participated. We talked about this yesterday in the church protest, put it up full mass. So we have organizer and civil rights attorney Nakima Levy Armstrong and St. Paul Public School Board member Chantel Allen, both black women. Put up the mayor, Minneapolis. The mayor did rebuke the administration for the arrest, calling it, quote, gross abuse of power, end quote, and demanded their release. Another quote, the federal government is picking and choosing who to investigate, going after protesters, and not the person who shot and killed one of our neighbors, said the mayor. Keep the mayor up. Once again, to the good people of the city of Minneapolis, your mayor and your police department, they are authorized. They have constitutional and statutory and Supreme Court case law protection to arrest lawbreakers, regardless of who those lawbreakers may be or what uniform they have on that day. I want to remind you of that every single time because you're not powerless. Your city is not powerless. You have protections. But the individuals who continue to give you word salad are not engaging in the protections that you deserve. You're paying for the protections. You have a right to the protection. The words of the politicians add up to you should have protection. All right, Jamie, thoughts about it?
You know, in this brazen attempt to homogenize our media and our politics that the Trump administration has been engaged in, and even Trump himself, even when outside of power, I think he's delegitimizing the federal government in this umpteenth way. So it used to be the old adage was that if the feds charged you with something, they waited till they were good and ready. They built a case, and you know you were going down by the time the feds get the confidence to actually indict you on something. Now, James Comey, Obama, Letitia James, Jerome Powell, all these cases are getting dismissed summarily. This lawfare has eroded these institutions. And I think the right wing should pay attention at how aggressively the Trump administration is weaponizing the DOJ. He ain't gonna be president forever. Eventually a Democrat's gonna come into power, and I would hate to see a system where we're swinging mud and the pendulum is swinging drastically all the time. Like we should expect better for our leaders, and the right wing should speak up. The DOJ used to be an independent organization largely. They used to independently prosecute, not at the whims of our crazy lunatic president. I work at a courthouse, and I have for the past 10 years. We have this crazy lady, and she has filed a bunch of lawsuits against churches, against neighbors, trying to get all kinds of stuff. And the court said, you are a vexatious litigant. Therefore, the clerk's office is not allowed to take any petition from you without court order. And I know this is different because it's a criminal matter, but at what point is the court going to say, look, the Trump administration is not serious. These DOJ attorneys are not serious. We cannot take these filings seriously. So you must get court approval before you bother indicting somebody. And I don't know if we lived in the America that I grew up in.
No, you make a fair point, because generally speaking, the reason why a court will rule that way is because it's in the interest of justice.
Right.
You would clog up the institutional norms of the legal system. You're also putting individuals on defense that may not have the ability to afford legal representation that you've now possibly defamed. And it is frivolous on face value, these suits that are being alleged. So we understand that. And he's definitely qualified, it would seem. But, and I will say this about Don Lemon. Everybody who supports any form of free speech should support Don Lemon, period, regardless of your politics. Because Don Lemon, not by way of his own actions, but by way of the administration, Don Lemon has become the test subject for this administration's standards as it relates to how they decide, or if they decide to prosecute a standing free press in America. All right.
Where are the free speech warriors? I mean,
exactly.
Cut you off again. The right wing got elected this cycle because they were free speech warriors, free speech absolutists. Where are they now?
That's right.
Where are
free
they?
Speech absolutists. The hell. Nowhere to be found. All right. We'll bring updates as they come. Heck of a thing. Well, white man decides to, do this to a black woman.
Yes.
Let me ask a question. How do you get to this country and have this much money to start a store and buy houses for $500,000?
$500,000? Where's that?
The house on Crossridge that you were trying to buy for $500,000.
On Crest?
Crossridge, that you put an offer in for $500,000.
Oh, well, they will finance you.
I'm trying to ask.
Hey. Be nice.
No.
What's going on?
I'm trying to ask. How are you getting in here and doing whatever?
Who? Stop.
And doing whatever you think you can do.
Stop. What's going on? I need a security here. Get away from me.
I'm asking you.
Get away from me.
I'm just asking you a question.
Get away from me.
Why are you buying? How do you have money to buy all this bread?
Security, please. I need a security. Get away from me.
I'm just asking. How come?
Get away from me.
Why people?
Security, please.
Why people can't fill a shopping cart, but these come in our country?
Who's monkey? Can somebody call me a security?
So sad, isn't it? Jordan, I'm going to have you cue that video up again. Before we go back to that video, This woman is gracious. This woman is kind. There's a strange male who has approached her. She has a smile on her face. Even when he insults her, she is so good that she's shocked and believes it's a prank, still with a smile on her face. This is her goodness talking. This is the nobility inside of her. This individual is making a really ironic argument. And this is the argument or discussion that happens at dinner tables in bigoted families all across America. He said a white person can barely fill their car. But here's this, as he called her, N-word. Whatever dilemma you're in, dear brother, you're in that dilemma because of policies that have been set by the same people you voted for. That's why you're in that dilemma, whatever dilemma it may be. But instead of holding the powerful accountable, you would prefer to blame a random Black woman for yours, for your problems. Let's see the video again.
Yes.
Let me ask a question. How do you get to this country and have this much money to start a store and buy houses for $500,000?
$500,000? What is that?
The house on Crossridge that you were trying to buy for $500,000.
On Quest?
Crossridge, that you put an offer in for $500,000.
Oh, well, they will finance you.
I'm trying to ask.
Hey. Be nice.
No.
What's going on?
I'm trying to ask. How are you getting in here and doing whatever?
Who? Stop.
And doing whatever you think you can do.
Stop. What's going on? I need a security here. Get away from me.
I'm asking you.
Get away from me.
I'm just asking you a question.
Get away from me.
Why are you buying? How do you have money to buy all this bread?
Security, please. I need a security. Get away from me.
I'm just asking. How come?
Get away from me.
Why people?
Security, please.
Why people can't fill a shopping cart? But these come in our country.
Use monkey. Can somebody call me a security?
Once again, failed policies. Trump made your groceries go up. Trump lowered your household median income. It was Donald Trump who said you would make more money than ever, pay less taxes, all of that untrue. It was Donald Trump who decided not to focus on you, but focus on himself. It was Donald Trump who solved his problems without solving yours. As a matter of fact, made yours worse. It was Donald Trump who aided the hike in these groceries by the ridiculous tariffs implemented by his whim. Put it up full mass. This woman deserves so much better than this. According to Atlanta Black Star, a white male seen on video harassing a Black woman is now under police investigation. This is in Pennsylvania. The update comes less than 48 hours after the disturbing confrontation went viral and the victim notified authorities. The Rostraver Township Police turned the case over to the state police and their criminal investigation unit and the FBI and the Westmoreland County District Attorney's Office. They have all been now brought in. The woman in the video hails from Liberia and was going about her day shopping at a Walmart when a stranger approached her, his phone camera on, and addressed her by name. Augusta Queenie Gold told the Pittsburgh Action 4 News that the ambush took her by surprise. In the video, you can see her face fall as the realization sets that the man had malicious intentions. Quote, he just walked up to me and said, "Hey, excuse me, you Queen?" I said, "Yeah." You know, and starts asking me where I have money to buy $5,000 house. End quote. The chilling level of detail would rattle anyone. But his line of questioning took a more sinister turn when he launched into a racist attack, calling her the N-word and calling her other slurs. The quick-thinking woman, however, immediately told him to get away from me, called out for security, even warning a fellow Black shopper not to engage with him. Ms. Gall, who runs a grocery store in the local region, told the outlet that a man visited her store after the encounter that the man visited and apologized. Okay. This is an apology letter. Quote, I feel like he hates my success, she told KDKA talk show host Marty Griffin. Quote, he hates the way I'm doing things, meaning opening a business, trying to get a home, but he forgets that the business is for the city, whatever improvements, taxes, it's for the city. Even though she said the man had filmed similar ambushes with other immigrants and posted them to social media, she is not one to hold a grudge. This is a good human being. She continued, quote, it's not in my hands anymore. I just want to move on with my life. The damage is already done. And I would just leave like that for the rest of my life. I would leave like that for the rest of my life. You know, it's very difficult for me to watch it, end quote. According to a January 19th press release issued by the Pennsylvania State Police, the investigation remains active as authorities continue to gather evidence and conduct multiple interviews. Likely, he has multiple victims. Put him back up again. The only distinction I will make, I totally concur with this beautiful soul sentiment, this woman who continues to show she has grace and courage. He has hate in him. But the hate that he's showing others is truly the hate that he has for himself. And what he is doing is projecting and reflecting his own belief of inadequacy. Because he has never dealt with himself, he projects it on other people, not realizing that they are simply the mirror of his own soul. So you are right. He has hate in him. And your grace and the way you handled that situation shows what you have inside of you. Love. And that is the game changer. All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on one of the first things that you said, because when the establishment sees arguments like this, they smile, they sit back like, oh, great, they're distracted. They're picking on each other while we rob the bank. And they, especially those Trump reporters, they just cannot wrap their head around the fact that, look, you have economic conditions that you're struggling with in your life. Don't look up. Don't look at the people who are making the policies on your behalf. Look at the people who just immigrated here. In this case, perhaps this woman is successful, but oftentimes they pick on people who are not. People who are working 3-4 jobs like they are, and they think, well, you're the problem. No, it's the billionaire that you elected that made $1 billion this year, swindling money away from the American electorate and taxpayers. He's the one stealing from us, not some lady who just showed up here and is doing the best she can to have her piece of the American dream. I think this is why white supremacy and racism is so pervasive, because it allows people who are experiencing hardship for one reason or another, because they just didn't make a good decision in life, or just because life happens, they still can put themselves above people who are of a different race who are successful. So instead of picking yourself up by the bootstraps that you've been bitching at, I don't know if I can say that, complaining at us for not doing, it doesn't matter if you're a black lawyer or a doctor, whatever, you are still beneath me simply by virtue of the fact that you are darker than me. And you are successful because I allowed you to be so. You took something away from me to get successful. And I am aggrieved by that fact. It's like the white replacement theory. Like they always talk about minority babies being born, but you don't get replaced. Like, more minorities in schools, they don't evict white kids out of the desk to make room. And it doesn't make any sense. And I know, like I said, this is why we have the cultural wars, because it allows the Republican establishment, although sometimes Democratic establishment, to get away with robbery, with murder even, while we're bickering over crazy, ridiculous things.
Yep. Well said. We'll bring updates as they come. The investigation, once again, is active. All right. Once again, another black delivery driver gets racially harassed by a random white male who decides to go get a weapon. Here it is.
Go ahead. What's up?
You a boy.
I'm a boy.
Put this on your Instagram.
Go ahead. What else? What else? What you want to do?
62-year-old.
What you want to do? What you want to do?
Your ass.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You better listen to her. This ain't. Hey, it's 2025. You better realize
Yeah.
what day is.
Yeah.
Get your mess.
If you go down the hill, turn
No,
left.
look at this.
Hey, no, I got time today. He wanna call me boy. You better tell him. Hey,
You go
Boy.
down the hill and turn left.
Boy.
Turn left on Stevens and end up in the
All right.
same place.
Yeah, I get to think that.
hey, you need Jesus, boy. No, I got time today. I got time. Man, no disrespect. He approached me crazy. I'm doing my job. He calling me boy. Hey, you feel me? But I like your robe though. But you good. I'm about to go ahead. But go ahead. Look.
Then the guy goes and grabs a gun. Put it up full mass. He doesn't do anything with it. This is random racism, but it's also very intentional. It's random. Yes, it seems random. You're just working, you're doing your job. All of a sudden, there's this clown who hops out of nowhere like a troll and calls you a boy while you're working. So you pull out your phone and you record him. He proceeds to tell you how he will aggressively assault you. And all you're doing is protecting yourself by recording. According to Atlanta Black Star, a white male stood in the middle of an Atlanta street in broad daylight and brandished a gun. Brandished a gun at a Black FedEx driver after repeatedly calling him boy on January 22nd, according to the video. The driver allegedly double parked his truck to make a delivery, which in Atlanta, they all do that. We assume they have some kind of relationship with the police because they do it everywhere. So this isn't uncommon, is my point. The driver allegedly double parked his truck to make a delivery when the agitated older male wearing glasses and Crocs. Go back to the picture, Jordan. Those are Crocs. So it's difficult to hold your footing properly in the fight with that attire. So he exited the vehicle, approached him using the derogatory term and attempting to goad him into a fist fight. Quote, I said, you're a boy, end quote. He told the FedEx employee, flashing him the middle finger, seemingly showing off with the camera. The sexagenarian made a meager move toward the delivery driver with repeating the demeaning term, but he suddenly retreated, perhaps remembering something he had stashed in the trunk, which was a gun. While Georgia has some of the most lenient laws in the U.S. as it relates to gun policy, pointing or aiming a gun at another person, regardless of if it's loaded or not, is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 12 years in jail. And it's a felony if there's intent to assault. The video cuts out shortly after this point. However, it's unclear if the man then drove off or if the police were notified. The X account that uploaded the video said, quote, I exposed racist and pedos, tagged FedEx along with countless commenters, but so far the company, which is the largest express transportation company in the world, has not publicly responded. FedEx did ask the account to DM them, though. Send them more information. All right, Jamie, thoughts here?
First thing that came to mind was how easy it is for crazy people to get guns in this country. This is a gentleman that doesn't even need car keys, let alone a weapon that could be used to murder a person. And not all instances of racism are mental health crisis, but clearly this man got some issues going on. And you hear every time there's a shooting, particularly a mass shooting at a school, Republicans come out and say, well, it's not a gun thing, it's a mental health thing. But where's the funding there? Okay, let's say, sure, you're right. Do something about that. That doesn't then alleviate you from the responsibility is to fix the problems of society. I'm not a person who believes in legislating their hearts and minds. I think there was racism the day I stepped foot on this planet, and there'll be racism when they lower me in the ground. That's just the way reality is and human nature. But let's not make it easy on them to kill us. I think the police need to arrest this man. Like you said, it's a misdemeanor. I'm surprised it's just a misdemeanor in the state of Georgia. I shudder to think of what it is in Alabama, probably something similar. We need to start utilizing the system to our advantage, just like it's utilized against us so readily. I would hope that this man not only tweets about it, he needs to file a police report. So this man brandished a weapon, and that man needs to go to jail and lose his ability to possess a firearm.
Yeah.
But this is America, so maybe that won't happen.
Yeah, and that's if he has the right to bear arms. We don't know for sure. He could have a situation, but the term is menacing in the state of Georgia. If you point a gun at somebody, do not utilize it, but do so in a threatening way. We'll bring you updates as they come. We got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Hey, Cenk, you ready to make the switch?
Yeah, I guess.
I promise it's easy, universal, basic, and you get income.
Yeah, you keep saying that. But you sure I'm gonna have coverage?
Of course you will. You think I would have bad service? I'm Andrew Yang. Of course I have good service.
All right, let's try it. But I'm so bad at text. So, wait. Should I do this thing of the hashtag business? Andrew, you're still on, right?
Yep.
Oh, I see it. No, wait, I don't see. Oh, yeah, I do see it. Here we go.
I actually did not realize that you'd be searching in real time, but I love it.
How much do people actually normally say?
Yeah, the average American is going to save between $500 and $1,000 a year on Noble.
Yeah, no. You know what I'm going to do, Andrew? Are you ready to become a Noble member? The 2 buttons are do it and go back. There's no going back. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Here we go, Noble Mobile.
Oh my gosh, I just called you, and are you now on Noble and not Verizon?
Why didn't you tell me it was going to be super easy?
I know, man. Now you just stay away from your phone and watch the money roll in.
I can do that. Here you go, phone, yeah.
What the Cenk, you still there?
Andrew? Oh, well, at least I got Noble Mobile.
It was really just one take. The whole thing is wild.
It's in my shoes. It's in my shoes.
Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with breaking news with Brett Ehrlich. This is breaking news with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to Big Pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor or concern for whose toes we might step on or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT, TYT.
The place is like 95% TYT on.
You guys, the Young Turks, which is my favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Cenk and the Young Turks do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the Young Turks.
The people who support us on the internet, that's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there who was undecided to think one side seems to be winning. They seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We got a lot of comments. I'll read as many as I can. Before I do that, do not forget to help Miss Dorothy Gaines if you can. We covered this story some months back. Disabled grandmother who has spent her entire life advocating for other people is now without a home. You may remember when we reported, we talked about the mistreatment her family suffered prior to their eviction. It was horrible. So we are doing what we can to provide aid to her. Please donate to our GoFundMe so she can find a place that is handicap accessible, sending her positive love, vibration, and prayers. All right. Dex says he wasn't wearing a tan suit when he walked into the church, was he? Those stylish blacks. Trump did think, that was really, look how he walked into there. Didn't know that was a thing. Jojo_Dragon, does the Trump administration have a new ministry of adjectives? That's good. That's good. And we have Sean Willis, 9956. Welcome to Indisputable. We greatly appreciate you joining the Truth Train. That is correct. Snack Path, I wasn't going to say it out loud. I was just going to let it slide. Okay? Because I have had my beefs with Don Lemon over the years. Rightfully so. Okay? Especially when I was on talk radio in Atlanta. Snack Panther says Don Lemon has come to life not being on corporate media. Yes. Yes, that is correct. I'm glad he's here. Okay? All right? Appreciate the comment. And the sensible streamer says Trump's house is supposedly worth like $400 million, and he apparently doesn't care. Yeah, he's worried about a possible $500,000 home. Yeah. All right. Got something for you, ladies and gentlemen. I wish Karen would.
You want to call the police on him for having a barbecue on a Sunday?
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Are you okay?
No!
Are you hurt?
Yes!
Physically?
He was not injured. Okay. Jordan, I usually don't do this on a Karen segment, but I need you to cue that back up. When that man got out that truck and said, God, sir, you just flipped off the woman. Okay? You just flipped off the woman. And after that thing happened, that's unfortunate that it happened. Did you think that maybe it happened because instead of paying attention to the road, you were busy flipping off a woman? And this woman, obviously a remarkable human being, showed concern for you, said, are you okay? You're still aggressive, but you're answering. So some people would have said, I'm not saying I would have said this, but some people would have said, so that's what your ass get. All right, here it is again.
Are you okay?
No!
Are you hurt?
Yes!
Physically?
Let's put the steel up so people can see. Clearly see he has his middle finger up. We have to blur the picture out because it's obscene. And that is when he decided not to pay attention to the requirements of driving. Then he crashes, he gets out. He blames the black woman, the random black woman that he decided to be aggressive and obscene against, basically a Trump supporter, okay? Cannot take personal responsibility for a damn thing. All right, Jamie, that was, that almost was a comedy skit, except it was real life.
You know, very pleasant. That was a very, I don't know if I've been that happy all year yet. First of all, that man needs his money back because I don't know where the hell that tire came from. Was that his tire? He hit the Akron and got it. There's a small dent on it, but his truck just crumbled like it was made out of paper. He needs money back. Whoever sold him that, that's a lemon. They didn't put your tire on the right way for it to fly off. Like, you had to be careful. You have to be careful who you tick off because some people are walking in favor. And,
That's right.
and when that happens, the punishment for grieving them sometimes can be instant.
There you go.
And I hope that man received a valuable education, but I know he certainly made my day significantly better. And I'm sure he blessed that woman today too. Because there ain't nothing like some instant karma that you watch somebody receive. And that was about as bad of an example of it as I've ever seen.
Yeah. I bet he won't do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have an exclusive update. We brought you the story months back. A veteran has now been awarded $6.8 million after abuse by the LAPD. Here it is, and I got the update.
That way it takes all the liability off of you guys, takes it off the city. I think it'll be the best thing to do.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Tell the doctor.
Put me in handcuffs. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. What have I done?
Put down the damn phone. You're calling 911. We're standing right in front of you.
But I'm asking you to leave my residency.
I'm not leaving your place now. Cuffs wouldn't be on you if you weren't acting the way you are.
Acting by exercising my constitutional
rights. Have a seat. The worst thing you could do is make a 911 call right in front of us. Actually, what you did was against the law.
It's not against the law. How much time you have on?
20.
I have 34. So the smartest thing's going to be put him on a gurney, handcuff him to the rails, take him to the hospital, tell the doctor that he's complaining that he's got previous back injuries and he fell in comfortable position and you need to clear him. That way it takes all the liability off of you guys, takes it off the city. I think it'll be the best thing to do.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So we're on the same page. Information?
This case stems from a harrowing 2019 incident in which veteran advocate Slade Douglas was falsely arrested, sexually abused, tortured, and forcibly hospitalized by LAPD officers Jeremy R. Wheeler and Jeffrey H. Yabana. In October 2023, United States District Judge Honorable Maame Iwusi Mensah Frimpong rejected an appeal from LAPD lawyers to dismiss the case, ruling that officers Jeremy Wheeler and Jeffrey Yabana are not entitled to qualified immunity for unconstitutional detention, excessive force, retaliation, violation of due process, violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, violation of the Bain Act, battery, false arrest, false imprisonment, and negligence. The judge also held that the city of Los Angeles is vicariously liable for the officers' actions.
This is an indisputable, exclusive update. This is why we cover stories that matter. Put up the picture full mass. Not only was he physically abused or accosted, there was a cover-up that included, according to the allegation, drugging him, putting him in a hospital in order to limit or eliminate liability. Once again, I'm sure this has been done before because everybody was on the same page. Nobody was confused about the play here. In an update, a $6.8 million jury verdict was rendered in favor of Slade Douglas in a lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles and Los Angeles police officers. The lawsuit stemmed from an incident August 2019 when Douglas was arrested by Los Angeles police officers at his apartment after the officers were sent to the apartment by a call from an employee of the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs who was angry that Douglas had filed a discrimination complaint against the agency. The original lawsuit sought $30 million in damages. Do you understand? The genesis of this whole thing was about a non-enforceable issue that wasn't a crime. So they come to his home on some bogus, non-enforceable thing. And what did they say on the video? The worst thing you could have done is call 911 with us. And sir, that's who you work for. That's your phone number. That's the worst thing a person could have done is calling 911 when you are violating their rights. And then they claimed it's illegal. The insanity of it. And then engage in illegal activity themselves. The suit stems from an incident August 27, 2019, when LAPD conducted what they contended was a welfare check. That's to cover their ass. Okay, so they later called it a welfare check. And what Douglas' attorney said was a government-initiated swatting by the VA, leading to the false arrest of Mr. Douglas by officers Jeremy R. Willer and Jeffrey H. Yabana. Following that arrest, Douglas was forcibly hospitalized against his will, drugged, and sexually assaulted under the color of law. Douglas said that he initially let the officers into his apartment, but then required that they leave. Let me just pause on this for a moment. Entry and exit is controlled by the person whose domicile it is. You can invite an officer in and you can tell them to get out. You can tell them you don't have a right to be on my property. And no, I do not consent to your entry, all constitutional rights. So when his rights were being violated, actively violated, he called 911, which he pays taxes to have that service. When they refused to leave, he dialed 911, which Officer Willer told him was against the law. Officers Willer and Yabana, joined by Sergeant Andrew Kang and LAFD personnel, transported Douglas in custody to Good Samaritan Hospital, a facility contracted by the city. After body-worn camera footage captured officers stating that the transport was undertaken to protect the city and the officers from liability, not to protect Mr. Douglas. There's more. At the hospital, Douglas was double handcuffed to a gurney, and he was subjected to invasive blood draws, exhaustive toxicology. They're trying to find something. Genital penetration through forced catheterization, which he described as sexual assault by instrument under color of law. And as evidence, fabrication intended to retroactively justify an unlawful arrest, said on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Once it was determined that Douglas had no drugs in his system, he was released from custody, according to the attorneys. All of these actions are reprehensible, illegal. I want you to think about the players involved, not just the police, but the first responders who are there to deliver medical aid engaged in this 1-2 combination. Got to think about this. Engaged in the 1-2 combination in order to disenfranchise a person, a human being, of their legal and constitutional rights. After 6 years of legal battles, 6 years, the case went to trial earlier this month with the U.S. District Judge presiding in the district. Quote, "This jury did not buy the excuses," said Slade's attorney, Lauren McRae. Quote, "They stripped away the cover-ups, rejected the deflections, and delivered pure accountability. This verdict is justice for Mr. Douglas and hope that fear of the next verdict drives real reform." Douglas punctuated this point during an interview on Roland Martin Unfiltered. It's a level of dehumanization. And it's clear that the city and LAPD believe certain people are not entitled to their constitutional rights. The verdict is loud and clear. And people of California have spoken and said the constitutional rights are not optional. As taxpayers, these institutions must act with integrity, uphold the law, and protect the people they serve. Great job Roland did with this interview. We posed a question to Douglas, what's next for him following the lawsuit and now the verdict. And he provided indisputable with a direct quote. He says, "I'm focused on shaping public policy that restores accountability and transparency in government. So power serves people, not institutions protecting themselves. On social justice, my focus is legislative, advancing legislation that accelerates permanent housing and supportive services for homeless veterans, guarantees timely access to benefits and care through mandatory statutory deadlines and automatic monetary penalties when the government fails them, and ensuring that when police officers are denied qualified immunity, taxpayers are no longer forced to pay their legal fees." Well said, dear brother. It's unfortunate he had to be a victim of multiple systems who basically gave him compounded interest of corruption. But out of that emerged someone who transmuted, transformed, and transfers the negative energy into beneficial energy for him and others. And that is the difference between somebody who gives a damn and somebody who doesn't. These things may happen, but he gives a damn. So it transformed him into an advocate for justice, and I'm thankful for that. Sometimes, in order to find your message, MESSAGE, I tell my college students this, you got to find your mess, MESS, and your mess you got to put age on it, AGE, little time, and that becomes your message. So this man was given a mess, and now he has a message. All right, we'll bring him on the show. He'll be in the bullpen very soon. Dear brother, thoughts here?
First, the amount of surgical precision that the LAPD engaged in through this routine, it felt like an assembly line. So they definitely do this as a matter of course. And I think more and more people are entitled to compensation for this because I'm sure it is not one of those officers' first time. And $6 million is not enough for this man. And I think, although it's ironic, the last line of that was that so taxpayers don't have to keep footing the bill for this, but I'm sure he, is grateful for it. I work with law enforcement, and a lot of them are above the board in everything they do, and a lot of them are very intelligent individuals, but definitely not every last one of them. And these men here are certainly not the cream of the crop. These were not the valedictorians of their class. And there are a lot of men and women who are carrying guns and wearing badges who that is also descriptive of. So the fact that they would say, let's do in front of him, let alone on camera, but do it in front of the man that you just arrested. Let's engage in deceptive, remediative acts so he's less likely to sue us to his face. Right. And then get surprised that, turns out that didn't exactly work. That did not exhaust us from liability. I hope the whole LAPD and the Solicitor General Office, I don't know how California works, but I'm assuming whatever body is in charge of investigating them is looked into, because I know, and the hospital and the EMS services, all of them, they need to be looked into greatly after this, because this is egregious.
Right. Well said. We'll bring you updates. And once again, we will have Mr. Douglas on the show. So we got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
The most popular online news show.
Favorite news platform by far. Oh, it's not even close.
Been on YouTube for 20 years. The Young Turks.
The Young Turks.
TYT probably needs no introduction.
A true lefty, Cenk Uygur.
Cenk Uygur.
Cenk, so great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, David.
Fan of your work for a long time, man.
Anna Kasparian is one of the most followed and influential progressive women online.
I love Anna.
Your presence has been essential for me to really grow.
Do all of you know the Young Turks? This is why what Young Turks are doing is so important.
I've watched you for many years. You are insightful. I thank you for that.
I was going to introduce myself, but it sounds like you guys might know it.
Ring the bell on YouTube today. You know what it does? It actually rings the bell at my house. It's super annoying, but if you do it, it just keeps on ringing. Oh, plus you can find out when the show is live and whenever we have new clips. Ring the bell. Oh no, not again.
How would I look walking the dog on the White House lawn? Would that be?
You know how much it costs you to start an account on TYT.com? Nothing. It's free. So you just go and register in about 2.5 seconds. Then you can chat with us during the show. We read those comments the most often. You chat with each other. Tons of people have become friends there. We're super interactive. We do a lot of polls for our paying members. We sometimes do polls that drive the direction of the show. So that's amazing. There's no other show that's this interactive. And our home base for that is TYT.com. Come join us right now.
When you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I think I was starting to think I don't want to do one thing, and I did live up to that.
Well, mission accomplished then, because Dave was a geologist, and now he's helped found the Young Turks. Even within TYT, you've done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So if you want to do different things, you nailed it. All right, last story to end on is a Dave story. Whenever there was something like obvious, glaring, he would go up and ask them about it. Like it'd be like a giant church, right? And somebody's standing in front of it. The usual Dave go, pull up right in front of him. You're like, hey, do you know where there's a church around here? And they're like, right here. It's right here.
Practical jokes. Spice up life a little.
We've been around for about 20 years and we have about 20 billion views. Am I proud of that? Hell yeah, I am. We put out 20 billion messages in a bottle. Have we helped to move now 2 generations, millennials and Gen Z, to become progressive? Yes, those numbers are real. We moved generations. Were we the only ones? Of course not. But we have been the largest online news show for now decades.
Cool news, ShopTYT.com now has books. There's a whole bunch of books there. You're gonna be shocked to find out that they're largely progressive. Of course! course, Ryan Grimm's book, We've Got People, is there. It's a fantastic story from Jesse Jackson to Bernie Sanders to AOC that explains the progressive movement probably better than any book I've ever read. Speaking of awesome books, my dad's got a book out called The Original Young Turk, where he goes from the poorest olive farmer you ever met in your life to living there.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. Okay, we got a lot of comments. We'll read as many as I can. Winter Scoop says, if he did have drugs in his system, it still wouldn't be legal to hold him. He was in his own home. It just would have muddied the field a little bit, and which was probably their intent. That's correct. And Winter Scoop also says the LAPD has a massive line item in their budget specifically for lawsuits caused by unconstitutional cop actions. That's right, defunding the police by way of the police. It seems as if the pro-police people are never upset at the defund police officers. And, oh man, all right, so the Riptide 222 says, my grandpa passed away last week. He was a TYT viewer. Rest in peace, Gramps. I am sorry to hear that. My condolences to you. And very thankful for the light that your grandpa obviously showed and reflected by your light as well. We're very thankful for the continued support. And in my faith tradition, it's mine. There is no death. There's only evolution. And so I say, in my faith tradition, that your grandfather passed on to his next evolution, as we all will. All right, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and I'm sure the sentiment is the same for everyone here. Okay. All right. I got a hell of a story about a Black woman, a bank, and being falsely accused. Put her up for a mass. This has some twists and turns, ladies and gentlemen. A Black female business owner in Pennsylvania is now suing a bank that wrongfully accused her of fraud, which has since ruined her thriving car dealership and caused her to go into debt, according to the report. March of 2023, Miss Tiana Williams, who got into the auto trade industry as a teenager in high school. She was flipping cars, buying them at a cheap auction, getting them fixed up, selling them at a profit to low-income, working-class people like herself with no or bad credit, was on a roll. She had just completed her best business year ever with more than $1 million in sales, a huge jump from 2021 when she sold $181,000 in used cars. This story continues. It resonates with me because one of my best friends in high school and elementary did the same thing and has a car lot now in DeKalb County, Georgia. Does a remarkable job, hires individuals who have had run-ins with law enforcement. He's benevolent, he's kind, but he's from that place. And he did something to transform not only his life, but the lives of others. So this woman has done something very similar. She did not take a traditional path. I'm all for that. Williams says, Shahzad Muhammad, the manager of a local M&T bank branch, strolled into her dealership, saying he was interested in supporting small business owners, especially minorities, and invited her to apply for a line of credit. His proposal was appealing, as the interest rate on offer by M&T was 4%, and she was paying 15% on her existing credit line at Truist Bank. So according to the approach, the representative of the institution, the bank, comes in and says, hey, I got a deal. And we're doing this especially with business owners like yourself. And we have an interest rate that's so insane, that's so ridiculously low, you would be quite foolish to not listen, okay? Williams saw this as an opportunity to provide more income to support her 5 children as a single mother and help take care of her mother, who was battling kidney disease at the time. So she decided to open up an account at M&T and went to meet with Mr. Muhammad, making a $35,000 initial deposit and applying for a $100,000 line of credit at the time. The funds she deposited included a check endorsed over to her by a customer who had just purchased a car. No issue there, business transaction normative. And a check and a wire transfer from a third-party finance company called Automotive Credit Corporation, ACC. A few days later, March 23rd, 2023, the lawsuit says when Williams went to access funds in her new business account, she discovered the account was frozen, and she was denied all access to the account. Mr. Muhammad, according to the report, told her verbally and via email that her credit application was still in process, that the delay was standard protocol for a new business customer, but did not disclose why her account was frozen. As she soon found out, an investigator at the bank, Hannah Minder, had initiated a fraud investigation of Williams and her business, apparently finding her initial deposit of the signed over endorsed check and wire transfer from ACC suspicious. In their answer to the lawsuit, M&T Bank said that a series of cash withdrawals totaling $12,284 that Williams made a day after transferring $32,355 into her new account were flagged as potential warning signs per standard banking policy and triggered a hold on her account. The investigator not only froze her business account, but also began contacting the third-party lenders Williams does business with on a regular basis. Now you got torturous interference, okay? They get contacted by the bank, by the investigator of the bank, telling them that she was being investigated for fraud. Now you got defamation. Without any evidence that Williams had engaged in any wrongful or illegitimate business practices, the lawsuit says. One of the lenders then sent communications to her customers encouraging them to report Williams to consumer protection agencies and law enforcement. So during a meeting, when Williams asked the investigator why she would question the legitimacy of a wire transfer from an automotive company, ACC, a bona fide commercial lender, the investigator responded by telling her, quote, "You people have a way of trying to make things look legitimate when they are actually fraudulent." I mean, that's not even creative. Investigator, you people have a way. Interesting. You're an investigator. Your job is to investigate facts, not assume, rumor, conjecture, create conclusion when there's no evidence. You decided to run off the pure steam of opinion. Williams told Atlanta Black Star that she responded to the investigator to this disturbing comment by telling her, quote, "I really hope you don't mean by you people what it sounds like. Are you talking about salesmen, women, or black people? I hope it's not black people." Oh yeah, it was black people. So the investigator took it further, quote, "Even if you are proven legitimate, I'm going to make sure I put you out of business according to the allegation. The bank denies in their answer that the investigator made any such prejudicial statements. But an internal email dated March 29th, 2023, obtained by Williams' attorney, Dean Malik, from the investigator to M&T bank managers discussing her progress on the fraud investigation of Williams, concluded with this statement, quote, doing my best to not let her win on my watch. Damn. Doing her best to not let her win on my watch. Shouldn't it be something like doing my best to establish a fact pattern in order to conclude if a fraud has taken place or not? Something like that. I'm not an investigator, but I would assume that's the reason why you're put in that position. There's more. Because of this fraudulent investigation, of business crashed. Her debt grew. The lawsuit states it took more than a month for the bank to determine no fraud had occurred. Her reputation is harmed. Her credit has been harmed. And her relationships have been harmed. The lawsuit says it took more than a month for the bank to determine no fraud had occurred and to restore her access to her own account. During that time, Williams had no access to her own capital to pay her bills and her debts mounted. Remember how this happened? Somebody approached her from the bank. They approached her. Said they want to make a deal with her and then claimed that her business was fraudulent via the investigation. There's more. And because of the damaging allegations made by the investigator, the two commercial auto lenders with which he had relationships, ACC and New City Funding Corp., informed Williams they would no longer do business with her. Had the bank not disrupted her business relationships and access to credit, Williams says, I would be a franchise by now. She had a goal. I was getting very popular in the automotive business. The amount of money I would have made with the new credit line and difference in the interest rate, I would have sped into the franchise world. A judge actually sanctioned M&T Bank and Ms. Muhammad with $8,000 in penalties. The bank has appealed her ruling. Her attorney is ready to go to trial if the settlement doesn't work out. Put the young lady back up, Jordan. Ma'am, I believe that you are more powerful than the scenario that presents itself. I believe you are a force of nature. I believe that you will absolutely have your franchise and more. I believe this bank has done you a huge favor in disguise. I believe instead of you having a line of credit, I think at the end of the day, you're going to get a line of cash. All right. Jamie, thoughts here?
You know, there are some people on this planet who cannot stand to see Black excellence in any capacity. It boils them up inside, and they set out to do whatever they can to subvert it. And I think in this case, you had a whole ring of people who it sounds like came close to perpetrating a fraud against this woman, or a bare minimum violating some usual crimes. But deja vu. Anytime you have Black successful entrepreneurs, I hear stories about banks doing all kinds of chicanery, random tellers going out of their way to initiate fraud disputes and getting. And it's tragic that we are still this late in the game in the year 2026 or 26. I messed it up. I'm sure I did it. And having this level of overt racism in our faces. While we're doing nothing but trying to have our piece of the American dream, doing what was promised to us decades and centuries ago, we're just minding our own fishing pole, and they come in with a wrecking ball trying to undo whatever we're doing. And I hope you are correct about this woman's fate. I'm sure you are. I hope she gets a tremendous line of cash and not a line of credit, and that's such that she can be dependent on herself and not these agencies They're fraudulent and racist. But hopefully we stay tuned to that.
Yeah, we will. We'll bring you updates. I got to tell you, the best business people in the world are the ones. If you find somebody that started whatever they're doing in high school and they're still doing it today, best in the world. Best on the planet, period. Okay? Obviously, she's a remarkable business owner. Bring you updates as they come. I'm going to take a quick break. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. Indisputable, exclusive, disputable, exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. Hell of a story, right? You've heard of the allegation. ICE agents using a 5-year-old as bait to capture others. Let me give you the background. ICE agents took a 5-year-old child as he and his father were returning home from preschool to use him as bait to find more immigrants, according to the allegation that is before them. I'm going to provide some detail and updates to this story. This is a 5-year-old, Liam Ramos. Liam, whose father was taken right in front of him, ICE agents proceeded to use him as bait to lure more immigrants to detain them for the purposes of detaining them. Liam and his father had just arrived home when they were detained, according to Zena Stenvik, the superintendent, who says she drove to the home when she learned of the detentions. When she arrived, Stenvik said the father's car was still running and the father and son had already been apprehended. 5-year-old child, okay? An agent had taken Liam out of the car, led the child to his front door, and directed him to knock on the door, asking to be let in. Quote, in order to see if anyone else was home, essentially using a 5-year-old as bait, the superintendent said in a statement. Stenvik said another adult living in the home was outside during the encounter and had pleaded to take care of Liam so the child could avoid detention, but was denied. Liam's older brother, a middle schooler, came home 20 minutes later to find his father and brother missing, Stenvik said. 2 school principals from the district also arrived at the home to offer support. 2 school principals. These are your heroes. These are your heroes, standing up for the common good, leaving their 9 to 5 in order to start their 5 to 10 or 5 to 12 because they have to. Why? We have an out of control regime that's only held accountable by way of forward thinking people like yourself and these folk here. Mark Prokosh, an attorney representing the family, said the family had an active asylum case and shared paperwork showing the father and the son had arrived to the U.S. at a port of entry, meaning an official crossing point. All of this is above board. Quote, the family did everything they were supposed to do in accordance with how the rules have been set out. He said, they did not come here illegally. They are not criminals. He said that there was no order of deportation against them, and he believes the father and son have remained together in detention. They are now detained together in Texas. The father, Adrian Alexander Arias, and his son are being held at the South Texas Family Residential Center, an ICE facility for families, according to the attorney. This is the 4th child ICE has taken from the same Minneapolis school district. They've been targeting them for a while. Okay? Number 4 now that we know on record. School officials said a total of 4 students have been detained by immigration agents in recent weeks. At least 1 other student is being held in Texas. And the district is, quote, working to locate 2 other students who were taken by ICE this week. ICE agents also arrested a 17-year-old on Tuesday when the student's parents were not present. And this is how it's being spun.
I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America?
So J.D. Vance, let me get this right. They did detain a 5-year-old. Okay. Any word on why they used the child as bait to knock on doors for them? Possibly it's that new administrative policy we talked about, where you just kind of get them to open the door and you can go in without a warrant from a judge. Don't allow the politics to evaporate your soul. Regardless of your political affiliation, all of this is just wrong. You know it. You don't want any part of this. I don't care who you voted for. You don't want any part of this. This isn't what you voted for. This isn't what you said. If you voted for Trump in this administration, you did not vote for this. So we are going to keep the light on for you. Meaning we're going to continue to tell the truth, to provide encouragement, to provide love. Love for those who look like us and those who do not. Put it up. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on their official social media account said, "You're lying for clicks yet again." ICE did not and has never used a child as bait. The child was abandoned. Now, it looks like Trump wrote this, by the way. Okay, I'm going to continue. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest Adrian Alexander, an illegal alien from Ecuador and who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. All of this is in contention by the attorney's statements, obviously, and a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Minnesota residents are not sitting back. Economic blackout plan to protest ICE. Complete disaster in Minnesota. Labor unions are calling on people to skip work and hit the streets to demonstrate against a swarm of federal agents in Minneapolis. All right. Sad. Jamie, thoughts here?
I'm terrified. This sort of behavior cannot be allowed to normalize. I think often, especially now, what was it like living in Germany in the 1930s? Hitler didn't come in on day one and was like, okay, now everybody, I'm ending the government that you know of. I'm starting fascism and we will be evil. He didn't declare it that way. It wasn't, these overt gigantic signs where there was a distinct line in which the democracy ended and fascism began. And nor will that happen here. It will be these incremental, terrible, egregious acts by the state against us. Don't ask not who the bell tolls, it tolls for thee, you and me. It will be these incremental acts of periodic aggression that we let slide, and then we look up all of a sudden, whoops, we got a dictatorship, and Donald Trump is staying in there, and if you're not white, you got to wear paper, or you carry your papers or wear a star on you. So, and it's happened before. It's happened in other governments. So I'm nervous by the lack of viscera from the citizenry constantly. These egregious overreaches of power. The ISIS is, I don't even know why, the story last week, he was considering invoking the Insurrection Act. I don't know why he's bothering to do that. ISIS is already a paramilitary force. He's sticking on the streets without any sort of pushback, not much at least. So why even bother marching the U.S. military there? Because you're doing it. You're snatching up children and using them as bait. Where's your humanity? These are people, regardless of what you think of our immigration system. These are human beings. This is a human child, regardless of where he's from. Why does it matter where he's from? The state should not be abusing children. And I'm nervous about the lack of outrage. And, J.D. Vance, I don't even want to spend any time on him, but he's such a disgusting gaslighter. I mean, 5 seconds ago, he called Trump America's Hitler, and now he's, anyway.
Right. Now he's kissing the ring.
Yeah.
No integrity, no actual values to define him. And that's the commonality of these individuals who said they believe this and now they believe that. The one commonality is they don't believe anything. They just have an ideology to be in power, and that's it. Dear brother, always fascinating to have you on the show. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
Look, first of all, I wish we ended with that Karen story. I want to see that video again. But you can find me on Rebel HQ under the playlist Jamie Lowe, and also on social media at JLowe_52.
Thank you, dear brother. Stay warm this weekend, man. We got an ice storm coming. All right? All right, remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.